Biblical calendar, days of the week. Pre-Julian calendar. Roman calendar was the calendar used by the Roman Kingdom and Roman Republic. The original calendar consisted of 10 months beginning in spring with March. Winter was left as an unassigned span of days. These months each had 30 or 31 days, and ran for 38 nundinal cycles, each forming an 8-day week. 9 days counted inclusively, in the Roman manner, hence the name. Ended by religious rituals and a public market. The winter period was later divided into 2 months, January and February. The early Roman king Romulus, founder and the first king of Rome from 753 to 716 BC, and Numa Pompilius, the second king of Rome from 715 to 672 BC, were traditionally credited with establishing this early fixed calendar, which bears traces of its origin as an observational lunar one. The calendar included the kalends, which is the first sighting of the crescent moon or new moon, the nones, which is the first quarter moon of the 7th day, and ides, which is the full moon of the 15th day. A lunisolar calendar is a calendar in many cultures, including Hebrew, Chinese, Buddhist, Burmese, Assyrian, Kurdish, traditional Hindu, Japanese, Korean, Mongolian, Tibetan, Vietnamese, Ancient Hellenic, Kalinyi, and Babylonian. Date of lunisolar calendars therefore indicates both the moon phase and the time of the solar year, that is the position of the sun in the Earth's sky. In contrast, the Julian calendar is a solar-only calendar of 365 days in every year with an additional leap day every 4th year. Without exception. The Julian calendar, proposed by Roman Julius Caesar in 46 BC, was a reform of this earlier lunisolar Roman calendar. It took effect on the 1st of January 45 BC. That is, 45 years before the birth of the Messiah. It was designed with the aid of Greek mathematicians and astronomers. This new Julian calendar preceded the modern-day Gregorian calendar. The Julian calendar is still used in parts of the Eastern Orthodox Church, in parts of Oriental Orthodoxy, and by the Berbers. The Gregorian calendar was later introduced on February 24, by public decree, and went into effect in October of 1582, by Pope Gregory XIII, head of the Catholic Church, as a modification and replacement for the Julian calendar. This Gregorian calendar system is the same one used today in most parts of the world. Let's get into the details of what the original lunisolar Roman calendar looked like. The nundinae were the market days of the ancient Roman calendar, forming a kind of weekend, including a period of rest from work for the ruling class, known as patricians. The nundinal cycle, market week, or 8-day week, was the cycle of days preceding, and including each nundinae. These were marked on fasti, using nundinal letters from A to H. The earliest form of the Roman calendar is sometimes said to have included exactly 38 such cycles, running for 304 days from March to December before an unorganized expanse of about 50 winter days. The length of these calendars was not evenly divisible by 8, employing the Julian calendar and the French Republican calendar, which was abolished by Napoleon in 1808. Under these systems, the nundinae fell on a different letter each year. The name nundinae was apparently formed from an early form of nanus, ninth, and din, or day. It is now an adjective modifying an understood, feriae, festival, or holiday. Not all Romans agree. A writer named Titus listed the nundinae as a customary occasion, and the Roman pontiffs did not consider the nones, or nundinae to be religious occasions. Nundinae, like the names of most other recurring days of the Roman calendar, always appeared as a plural in classical Latin, even in references to a single day. All patrician business was originally suspended during the nundinae. At the time of the 12 Tables of 449 BC, which is the legislation and foundation of Roman law, and later the 287 BC Hortensian law, permitted use for most legal and business purposes. Dates otherwise permitted for public assemblies were still downgraded if a nundinae occurred on them. The religious exclusions of the nundinae were not always observed. The rebellion of M. Aemilius Lepidus in 78 BC was later remembered as an example of the evil effects of having the nundinae occur on the January calends. The new year was allowed to coincide with a market again, in 52 BC. Nundinae were used for dinner parties and public announcements, especially of coming assemblies and legislation. Later writers claimed that early Roman farmers would busy themselves with labor during the week, and only groom, and fully bathe on the Nundinae. Retail trading was long restricted to foreigners, or slaves, only out of concern for its spiritual effects. The tribune of the people was obliged to conduct, and conclude, all of their business on the Nundinae, by dusk, otherwise it needed to be proposed, and announced anew. How did they get to be set in stone, on Saturdays? Although, Nundinae are known to have been manipulated during the late Republican and Imperial period. Moved a day forward, or backward, to avoid interference with a religious festival or important public assembly, they are thought to have been absolutely fixed, at 8 days, under the Republic. Scholars, therefore, use them when trying to find Julian or Gregorian dates for events in Roman history. Superstitions arose concerning the bad luck that followed a Nundinae, on the nones of a month. Adjustments were made to avoid such coincidences, even after the Julian reform of the calendar. These superstitions appeared again later, concerning the first day of January. We can still find this superstition, of bad luck, on New Year in our culture to this day. The 7-day week began to be observed in Italy, as late as the imperial period of 1890 to 1941, as practitioners and converts to Eastern religions introduced Hellenistic and Babylonian astrology. The Jewish Saturday Sabbath, and the Christian Lord's Day. The system was originally used for private worship and astrology, but had replaced the Nundinal week by the time Constantine made Sunday an official day of rest, in AD 321. Let's take a look at what a monthly calendar would look like. On the calends, the day after the calends, the 6th day before the nones, the 5th day before the nones, the 4th day before the nones, the 3rd day before the nones, on the day before the nones, on the nones, or also known as the 8th day before the Ides, the day after the nones, or aka the 7th day before the Ides, the 6th day before the Ides, the 5th day before the Ides, the 4th day before the Ides, the 3rd day before the Ides, on the day before the Ides or aka, the 19th day before the calends, on the Ides or aka, the 18th day before the calends, the day after the Ides or aka, the 17th day before the calends, the 16th day before the calends, the 15th day before the calends, the 14th day before the calends, the 13th day before the calends, the 12th day before the calends, the 11th day before the calends, the 10th day before the calends, the 9th day before the calends, the 8th day before the calends, the 7th day before the calends, the 6th day before the calends, the 5th day before the calends, the 4th day before the calends, the 3rd day before the calends, and the day before the calends. Now, let's compare this to the biblical Enoch calendar. See, the calends is the new moon. The nones is the first Sabbath, which falls on the 8th day of the month, or in other words, the 7th day after the new moon, which is the first quarter moon. Then the Ides is the second Sabbath, which is the full moon, on the 15th day after the sighting of the new moon. 7 days later, the day they call the 11th day before the calends, is the 22nd day Sabbath. And 7 days after that, the day they call the 4th day before the calends, is the 29th day Sabbath. The next calends, or new moon, can occur anywhere from the 29th day of the month, to the 31st day of the month. And it is customary, for the Hebrews to look for the sign of the new month, which is the first crescent of the new moon. And when it is sighted, the Hebrews are to blow the shofar. This is the indication to everyone, that the new month has begun. In conclusion, prior to the 1st century BC, most of the world was using a luni-solar calendar. This luni-solar calendar is described in much detail in the Book of Enoch. And is the calendar the Most High created for us to follow, in order to know his seasons, signs and studies concerning the biblical calendar in future videos. Let us know if you have questions in the comments section below and we will answer them as best we can. Until next time, Shalom family.